You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Teen Wolf After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Teen Wolf After Show.
Hello, AfterBuzzers. We're here during another AfterBuzz TV after show for MTV's Teen Wolf Season 3, Episode 19, Letharia Vulpina. I'm your host this evening, Kristen Elizabeth Snyder, and joining me, AfterBuzz TV host June Lee.
Hey, everyone.
Our special guest this evening plays Peter Hale on MTV's Teen Wolf. Please welcome Ian Bohen.
Hello.
So great to have you in studio again. It's always such a pleasure.
It's fun to be here. Thanks for having me.
So this episode, once again, they stepped it up another level. Teen Wolf, every single week, it's just fascinating. It's like movie quality. We're always on the edge of our seats. It's so unpredictable. You never know which characters are going to become allies and which characters are going to become enemies. What are you guys' initial thoughts on this episode?
Well, it's why the writers are so crazy and the production, they're going nuts because they have to top themselves each week, and after this many seasons and this many episodes, they're like, how do we maintain what people expect and deliver the quality and have new stories and new characters? It's like, how do we achieve it? And they're pulling their hair out, and they do it each time.
Yeah, but it works every single time. There's magic delivered to us every episode.
I feel like they put ideas in a fishbowl and they pick one out and they're like, we gonna figure out how this has happened.
I can't even imagine what the writer's room is like when they have to sit around a table and come up with ideas and figure out what can work. And I don't want any part of that, but it's happening. It's as exciting as ever. The fans are watching it more than ever. We've had some of the highest rated episodes of the whole series only like a week or two ago, and that's just stunning to be in mid run and have the response be that great. It's really exciting. It makes us feel good, and so we're happy to keep working hard.
You guys are definitely breaking some ground for MTV.
Yeah, I mean, Riddle really stepped it up, I think, to a whole nother level.
Yeah. Can you guys come closer? So let's go ahead and jump into the episode. So we see, Peter shows up at the high school, passing out his number to Lydia's mom so he can, quote unquote, test her hearing. So, I mean, you're so charming. What do you think? Give the audience, some advice. What's the best way to hand out your number? Pretend to be some guy you're not.
In real life?
I mean, we've seen you do it on Teen Wolf.
I'll tell you, it's pretty easy. God, this sounds like a pickup line or something, but if you're really into something or you've been talking to somebody, whatever, or even if it's a stranger across the room, if you just say, you're stunning to me and I would love to talk to you, and call me if you want. And it's that simple. If someone's interested in you, they will. And if they're not, they won't. But other than if that doesn't work, then she's not down. So I just think it's that easy, and just be honest.
I guess you're right, because the problem is people are too afraid to be honest and drop their pride and just let their feelings come through in what they say to each other. You see that all the time, and I'm so glad we get Styles a lot on the show, just dropping his pride. With Lydia, he used to do it more so than he does now, but just laying it out there, your feelings, and if people want it, they'll come, and I still think she's going to come back around for him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the long game. We've got a lot of time left to do that, and it's more exciting to bait it out than to quickly deliver it. Then it's finished. So we need to use that, because it's just such a great dynamic between them.
So I was happy to see that we got Allison and Lydia's relationship and their friendship sort of back on screen, because that had disappeared for a little while. And of course, Lydia, wants to find out what Peter wants, so she takes Allison as protection. And Jeff said in a previous interview that we were going to get another Banshee here so that we could, have someone train her. So is Peter a Banshee, or is he just knows the ways of the world?
I think he knows of it, and I wouldn't say he is a Banshee himself, but he knows how to get from her what he needs. And it goes all the way back to the very first episode when Derek and I are chained up and we've gone to get these claws. I've had this plan going for a really, really long time. And so he's been gone a little bit here and there. And there's a lot of different storylines this season, a lot of different characters and new people that we just don't have time to do everything, so sometimes things drop away. And we got a great opportunity to see Lydia and Allison. Also me, I got to work with Crystal, which I almost never do. Our characters, we don't get to interact. That was a really, really fun day.
There was so much like sass and just tension going on in that room. It came across so well on screen. What's it like working with those two?
First of all, Holland and I go, we go way back, and we've had so many scenes together. It's always a blast. Crystal and I, when we got to set, we were just smiling, and we were thinking, dude, we get to have so many great moments that are written into this episode, and we can't wait to have them, because we've never gotten to. It's always just been, she wants to kill me or I'm mad at her, and we got to do stuff. And watching it, like, I saw everything I wanted to see, and I was like just so happy with the way it was cut together, and it makes it fun. I love watching them and seeing those things happen. We work hard for them, and when they're there, I'm watching it like a fan, and I want to see the same stuff everyone else does. Yeah,
I mean, I can't imagine being a piece of the show, just one piece, and then seeing it all come together, like it does on screen. It's magic. It really is. When people, the magic in Hollywood, it's really there, and it takes a lot of people to put it together, but when we all work together, we can see it appear on screen.
Especially since the scripts are so involved, and they're so detailed, and there's so much happening. Often they're confusing, and you have to go back, and you're like, wait, what's happening? And so you think you have it all visually in your mind, but when you read it, it's harder. So I want to watch and be like, okay, make sure I know what I thought about what I was thinking I was reading, and see it. It's like reading your favorite book and they make it into a movie. You're like, I want to see what it really looks like.
How it translates.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I would never even miss an episode.
So, of course, Allison, sees that you're trying to manipulate Lydia. She's like, what do you want out of this?
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat, before you ever help at all. Which, your character, it's pretty manipulating. What is it like playing that guy who's, always has another motive that he's kind of keeping from everybody else? I love it.
It's great fun to... doing straightforward stuff is interesting too and cool, but when you're so duplicitous and have so many different levels, and you can play and still get people to not hate you and like give you the time of day and go, okay, I know you're a terrible psychotic killer, but I will listen to you and I might even help you. It's very, very satisfying. Obviously, they have to, because that's the words and they have to do whatever, but to make people believe it and go, okay, make the audience go, yeah, okay, maybe he can do that. It's so much fun. Yeah. It's literally like play, and they build these elaborate sets, these playgrounds for us to go and play in.
Well, it's kind of like you're also always like the villain that's just always there and kind of accepted as the villain. Like people have started to pretty much stop fighting you for the most part.
And that's a huge thing for his manipulation plan, is that he had to take a really long time, like 2 seasons worth of just going, guys, I'm not the bad guy. Just come on, right? And everyone's kind of on board now, so that's I have them right where I want them, and I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do with it.
What?
But it's going to be worth watching, I can tell you that much.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, as I'm sure everybody else is. So the little plan that you set up with Lydia is basically, you're letting her know that it's not the scream that is, her psychic ability. It's more so the scream filters all the other sounds out, so she can hone in on what the real noise is that she needs to hear.
And we've seen that before, when she thought she was hearing the flies. Remember, she's like, I keep hearing this buzz and this buzz and this buzz, and finally she screams, and then she realized, oh, it's electricity. So these are patterns that you might not see, but when you look back, you go, these things are all planned by the writers. And it's like, you're like, wow, it's really interesting how smart it is. So I'm telling her that, I don't know how I know that, but it's important because I need her hearing. I need to know what this secret is, and I need her to give it to me. And to she's always reluctantly agreeing to my plans for my purposes, but I've never really heard her.
Yeah,
it was a flesh wound.
Letting her bleed out on the lacrosse field. It's totally forgettable. I didn't remember until they brought it up. So I don't know. He realizes he needs her help, and she needs his help. Honestly, she does. She needs a friend.
Some guidance.
She has been all alone in this. No one really there to help her. So it's the last person she wants to help her, but she doesn't have a choice.
She's out of options.
She's out of options.
Yeah. Totally
and you need this memory that was stolen from you, from Talia, and it's stuck in the claws, and she's the only one who can hear it. So we find out that, congratulations, you're a father.
My God.
How excited were you when you read that script? script.
June and I were talking earlier. I got him. Honestly, my very first reaction was, I'm not old enough to have a child. I don't know why. No one's gonna believe this.
I look 17-year-old.
I look like a child, right? And everyone was like, oh, he doesn't know. And so I got over that like 6 weeks later. And I thought, okay, this is really interesting. What's going to happen next is which is what everybody wants to know, is what are we going to do with it, and who is it, which we find out as well.
Well, Lydia says to you that she doesn't know, but then immediately when she gets in the car, she shows Allison that it's Malia.
Okay, right. So we've given that away.
Right. So
Couple interesting points about that. My character doesn't know Malia. Doesn't know. Everyone else does, but Peter doesn't know. It's just a name for him. So you can see his wheels turning when he and also he doesn't even know it's Malia. Everyone else does, but when he finds out the name, he's going to start going, okay, and then I have an objective, and here's what I want to do with this. Hopefully you'll see that.
I mean, I'm excited for that because I feel like your character could redeem a lot from the audience by being a father. It changes a man.
Completely.
And you see it in his eyes, too. Well, your eyes.
Thank you. So you have a couple ways to go. Like, what is he going to do with it? Does he have any humanity as a person? If you have a kid, they're going to go, oh, my God, I got to go find my kid and be with them. And Or is he going to do Peter-y things and go,
use that.
Use it, right? So we're not, I don't want to spoil that, but you're definitely going to see what he wants to do. We've got, I think, 5 episodes left, which is a lot. And that's
a lot can happen.
Just under half a season, yeah.
So more importantly, I want to know, why did she steal this memory from him? I mean, who would take away being a father for someone?
Well, I think we've established that Talia and I didn't get along really well. We have a lot of vitriol for one another, and that's a really deep backstory that we may or may not get into. But she doesn't like me, and I think that she is protecting what is essentially her niece from what she thinks is a threat, which is a bad person. So in an effort to save her, and maybe she just decided to steal that and say, I'm going to take your child from you for their own good, and that's enough justification, and so you'll never know, and that's it.
Well, I hope that we get, more of that. I'm sure we will, but I'm excited that you're father. It's a great way to bring in a new character. I can tell
it's
you're
my
so
first
excited.
time, and I'm not sure how I feel about it.
So you're going to
take
being a father ever in anything?
I think so. I'm probably forgetting some. Yeah, I really think it is.
Did you prep it all? Did you take some parenting classes when you found out?
No, I buried my head under the pillow and I cried.
I think you're supposed to celebrate and go buy a onesie or crib or something.
What? And then when I found out how old, because she's supposed to be
17.
And then I was like, oh, Jesus.
I'm sure it was love. I'll say that.
What?
Puppy love. Maybe it was puppy love. High
The
school
child
sweetheart.
was born out of love.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Love
think he's worried
and
about
some
that.
Marvin Gaye playing in the background.
That would be phenomenal. All right,
Shoot
guys.
that scene. That's hilarious.
We have a phone call actually for you. Someone wants to ask you a question. And guys at home, don't forget you can call 424-256-1729. Caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm Carol. I'm from Texas.
Hi, Carol from Texas.
Hey, Carol, what's going on?
Did you have a question for Ian?
I do, actually. I'm wondering, would you rather play Peter as this kind of psycho villain or as someone who could be redeemed?
That's a really great question.
That is, I think, while I love his sociopathic tendencies, a complete and utter villain is very one-dimensional for me, and there's really nowhere to go, and at the end, it's just too linear, and it's not as interesting. If you have someone that's a normal person that can be redeemed, but that does crazy things, it's much more interesting, and you can forgive them, which I think Peter has been forgiven for what he does because he's more human. Otherwise, you're just a pat, villain that no one can ever root for. I think people are starting to root for Peter a little bit. So how's that? It's kind of a complicated answer, but both sort of.
No, it's good. And I just want to say that I completely love Peter, the character, and I love how you portray him. I think you're just a great actor.
Thank you so much. That is so sweet. Wow, thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in, Carol.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Your fans love you guys. The Teen Wolf
I
fans are like
know.
no other.
They're adorable.
Seriously.
They never cease to amaze me with the level of enthusiasm and the commitment and the responses and the tweets and the investigations that they do in the stories. You know, and there's a lot of supernatural shows and there's a lot of fans. Ours are different. They're rabid in a way that is... I take a lot of pride in it, and I think they're cool, and I enjoy interacting with them and talking to them and, you know, keeping them happy.
I mean, you guys are kind of raising your audience, you know? I mean, Jeff always puts those tidbits in there about, you know, high school and how it's hard, and it's kind of like having monsters in your high school. That's it. That is how bad high school is.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, there aren't wolves running around and, you know, enemies and villains and Drox and Peter Hales, but, you know, there are a lot of things that are comparable to
It's
that.
totally relatable.
Right.
This is important to them. It's not just a show. Like, it means something.
Right.
It does.
And I think that they appreciate that as more than just entertainment, because a lot of them are on a little side note, are troubled, and they have a lot of issues that are going on. There's a lot of bullying, and there's a lot of, you know, LGBT, you know, people don't understand things, and
Right.
this show speaks to them in a way that makes them feel human, and it's so special. And they,
Wow.
we get a lot of comments about that, and I take a lot of pride in that, and that's very smart on Jeff's part.
Yeah.
To just help people and use this forum that they're going to look at.
Absolutely.
And then without them knowing it, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not a weirdo. I'm a normal person just like everyone else, and I'm okay. And that, I mean, dude, if you can do that for people,
Right.
I mean,
No, I've actually never thought about it.
they're
that
all
way.
heroes for that.
Yeah,
So,
I mean...
that's really important to me.
Absolutely. And, you know, the fans are constantly leaving amazing content. Oh, we have another phone call. So...
Bring it.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you from?
Oh, bummer.
Okay, call back. It's
Call back.
424-256-1729. We want to hear from you guys. We'll accept your questions and
absolutely.
comments. All right, getting back to the show for a moment before we have our next caller. So Deaton showed us that he is the true druid mafia boss. Like, he will take on whoever he needs to.
Yeah, and so cool as a cucumber too, right?
Yes.
That intro scene, he's just like James Bond, totally.
Exactly. You don't even know this is Teen Wolf right now.
Right.
It's so surprising, the scenes they throw out you and the set designs. And we get that, you know, Deaton's in Japan, and he wanted to poison the dog. He just paralyzed it.
Right.
And the Yakuza boss so that he could get a sample of the Letharia Vulpina, which he could use to poison the fox that is currently in Styles. And the way he did it was
That's the best part.
no weapons.
The execution just walked in, and his face. Seth played it so perfectly. Just really understated and did it. Never broke anything. Even when the guns came out into this, he was just like, well, I'm just one step ahead of you. Basically, I thought that was a slow clap for sure. I love that. That was a great scene. I was really jealous of that piece.
I mean, we got that whole flashback of where we saw the Nagitsune, the other one, kind of be slaughtered over this fountain. So the Letharia Vulpina is very powerful poison that grew in his blood from this fountain. And so that is what, you know, Deaton wants a sample of so that he can poison the fox.
Right.
And it was just so well done. And the fact that all those guys wouldn't go to the garden made the audience very weary. And then we remembered the flashback that we saw earlier. And yeah, just... overall, it was fascinating to watch, and, you know, it was so unpredictable. Who thought?
Visually stunning.
And from Deaton.
And a lot of that
Right.
story, you know, I'm pretty sure Russell directed that episode. You get those elements from the way, you know, the camera's set up and Dave who shoots it, and it's part of the telling that's not just expositional, it's the whole feel. That's sometimes when the show feels like you're watching a movie.
Absolutely. And we have another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, my name's Sarah. I'm calling from BC, Canada, actually.
Hey, Sarah, what's happening?
Good.
Did you have a question for
I guess-
Ian, Sarah?
Yeah, I was just wondering if Peter would ever consider teaming up with Dark Styles at some point.
Ooh.
Ooh, that is a good question. I think he would definitely consider doing it if he thought he could manipulate him. I think Dark Styles he might even be smarter than Peter, so Peter might not want to get involved in this one just because it could be too dangerous. But he would absolutely put it on the table. He's probably thought about it. I don't think they get. I know they. Well, I can't say that.
You almost got a spoiler for us.
Almost got in trouble. Yeah. But that won't be answered exactly. But I will say that there might be an interaction that will give you something more helpful than everything I just said.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Sarah, thank you for calling in.
Yep. Thanks for calling. Stay warm. Good night.
Good night. So let's talk about Isaac a little bit. He tries to help out and he ends up getting electrocuted. And we get to see Kira in action in front of everyone.
Again.
She absorbs all that power.
That was awesome.
It was super awesome.
And I want to know what you guys think is going on with Allison and Scott, because when they go in to visit Isaac, they're holding hands. And I know a lot of they have this deep friendship as well, but is the relationship possibly going to be rekindled? I mean, when tragedy happens, it often causes people to reflect and come together and kind of drop, the small stuff. So where do you guys see their relationship? Is this a friendly holding the hands?
I don't know. For me, I think it was definitely more about the friendship. It didn't feel like a romantic, hand holding for me. It was definitely about being there to support Isaac and, just, being there as friends, I thought.
I was actually there that day when they shot that. I can't remember what I was doing, but for some reason I was like, I just want to watch this scene. And I remember that moment happening. And I don't think it's romantic, but what I think is even more important is that after all their past, that is what they do comfortably. That's where they go to when they need strength and support.
Absolutely.
And it's not just, oh, you're my friend and I know you. It's like it's stronger than that. It doesn't have to be romantic or physical or sexual, but it's a bond that these people will always have. And it was a beautiful moment, and it was perfectly shot, and we just got it. And we were like, oh, man, that's cool.
It came across really well.
It came across, and do they want us to ask questions? Is it romantic? Maybe. Is it suggestive? But I think if you watch it, you just go, these are people that will always love each other, even if they're not going to be together.
That's a great point.
And that's important.
It's often hard, especially for teenagers, to rekindle a friendship after having a love with someone. So it's nice to see that on Teen Wolf, and perhaps it suggests that we can be friends with our exes because at some point in time we did have that really special connection.
Right, and and you'll never lose that, and you should have hopefully no regrets, and wouldn't want to change anything when you have when healthy relationships are like that, and you can maintain. Knowing people and still experiencing them. And it's not just for kids, I'm telling you.
Just I
got some gear of my own, I can tell you about.
Ex-boyfriends, where you at? So getting back to Isaac, he's in like a coma now, it seems, and he's really not healing. So, and I'm not sure why, and Scott even tries to absorb some pain for him, and it doesn't seem to help that much. So hopefully he's going to be okay. It's a little cliffhanger for us to see what happens with him.
Well, on that note, there's some rumors swirling that there's going to be a couple of really important character deaths this season, and so I think that is certainly on the table when there's a specific supernatural wound or a special kind of hurt.
Right.
That there's times when it happened to Cora and it's happened to, I think, Derek. You never know, and they're gonna leave you hanging for a second, and that everybody's on the table, to be not returning. So
right, we have another phone call. Caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, my name is Abby. I'm calling from New York.
Hi,
hey, what's
Abby.
up, Abby? I just got home from New York. Did I see you there? Did we talk?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, now it's
I
cool.
wish I would have seen you.
No, I wish I would have seen you, sweetheart.
Did you have a question, Abby, for Ian?
Yeah, I just noticed that 2 weeks ago you were on the episode of Beauty and the Beast.
I believe I was, yeah.
I wanted to know, how was the supernatural exchange from going to Teen Wolf to, to Beauty and the Beast, and how's the cast?
They're very similar in terms of the creatures on either show. Their cast was exceptional. I had a fantastic time working with them, as I do with ours. And so it was similar and, familiar, and I had a blast. It's always fun to do other stuff and play other characters and work with other actors.
Okay, thank you.
I'm glad you saw it.
You were great, and and I really liked, you and Kristen's character, together, and you guys bonding, and I would have liked to see you and Vincent more, but.
Thank you, Abby. That's very sweet. Jay, who plays Vincent, he's a fantastic guy, and I wish them a lot of success on their show.
Thanks so much for calling, Abby.
Thanks,
okay.
And you rock, Kristen. I used to see you on Vampire Diaries, but but you're great on this show too. So
Thank you so much, Abby. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for supporting us at AfterBuzz. We're here for you guys, and we really appreciate the support.
Thanks, Abby.
Have a good night.
Good night.
And continue success, Ian.
Thank you so much. So sweet.
These people, they're amazing.
They are. I tell you, it feels good to have people like your work. It's like, dude, thank you. We make it so you watch it. So it's all for them.
It's all for them.
It is.
So thank you guys.
Yeah,
we really
thanks for calling. You can ask
it.
questions. That's great.
So let's go ahead and get into the Argent-Derek, love fight relationship. So I guess Stiles kind of framed Argent and Derek for murder is what they thought. And that's why they were in the police station.
Right.
So I'm not sure why Stiles wanted to, even the dark, Kitsune that's in Stiles, no Kitsune, why he wanted to blow up the police station, and he wanted, Argent and Derek to be there.
And I think that might be the point, is he wanted
to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was nice to see that they become allies, because I feel like they both need this friendship.
They do. They're very, very similar characters if you sort of break down who they are as personalities on opposite ends of the hunter, werewolf spectrum. So they're supposed to hate each other, but as men, they're exactly the same, and they both have really big hearts. So they just kind of go in different directions. And in the moment where you don't have time to think about it, you just go with your gut, and that protection mode that kicked in it's endearing. And these guys go, we're the same guy. We're just on opposite sides, and we can't be. How do we do this? But we kind of like each other, and we're friends. And it's endearing to watch, and we appreciate it, and it makes us root for them to figure it out and be together. And every time they're on screen, I would just. Also they're great friends, personally, so it's...
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, it's not too hard to be friends on this show, then.
Yeah, it's certainly not those two guys. They're two princes, I can tell you that much.
Well, Derek seemed to take quite a blow for Argent. All the glass in his back, that was not like a little Band-Aid heal.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
Yeah, so it was, I think that from now on, Argent will be a lot more accepting of Derek and his pack, and, they were always sort of... okay, maybe, not really, I still don't trust you. And now I feel like after this, they can come together, be friends, and solve things a lot more faster.
Right, and that'll be fun to watch. We've established that the hunters hunt the wolves, but Derek's not a typical wolf, and he's a good person. He doesn't do anything bad. He hasn't killed anybody, and that he's proven himself now to Chris. They could well be allies. Always with one eye, over your just in case.
No sleepovers quite yet.
Yeah, exactly. We're not gonna make cupcakes together, but we can maybe watch a movie.
So Scott and Kira, their kiss is always interrupted. So it's been teased for a while. I'm excited for it. I'm ready for it. Coach gets the hit this week, with the arrow, and it was nice to see him kind of freaking out and his kids coming to his rescue because he's always the one in charge of them, and it was nice to see that role reversal and to see that, he should kind of give them a little more respect, a little more leeway, because at the end of the day, they're going to be there for him. So I'm excited to see how this is going to change the way he treats his students after they came to his rescue. What do you guys think?
It was so funny, just the way he fell down. It was just so coach.
It really was.
So coach,
What did he say?
He was like, oh crap.
That's perfect.
It was so
Bernie
perfect,
Adams.
He's such a dear
phenomenal
character, and we need him so badly.
Yeah.
And the interactions are great. And
I know. That's why I was so shocked when I saw in the teaser that he got, hurt. I was like, oh my god, is Coach gonna die? That can't happen.
I feel like he's going to be all right.
No, he has to be all right.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I'll tell you what, an arrow through the stomach is no small.
That's true.
It's no small thing, and they're gonna
can
make
bite
you wait.
him. You can bite him.
Oh my god, but yeah, can you imagine Coach as a...
Oh my
It
god.
would be fantastic.
That would be genius.
It's my idea, Jeff.
Excuse me. Take credit for that.
You heard
Take
it
that.
first at AfterBuzz.
Take that back to the writer's
Absolutely.
room. So we got that Danny and Ethan kiss. Are they rekindling that flame? Can we
was
look
such
for
a
their
cute
relationship?
kiss.
I mean, it seemed like Danny wasn't, trying to get away too much, although Ethan was on top of him.
It was so cute. Oh my gosh.
I think it's important to always keep the options open with these relationships and never really define them concretely where you can't go back from. So it's always going to be like, we're not ever sure. We don't, once like, if they're set and in and together, then it's like, well, then that's done and we're going to look for something else. But we always want to
Right.
be wondering. And that's,
Right.
that's an element that they put in the whole show, but especially
Yeah.
in the relationships.
I think we enjoy that. At the end of the day, we want it right now, but it feels better when we
Totally.
wait.
If the payoff comes late, what are you talking
The more
about?
you know. I mean, Teen Wolf facts. So Kira's parents know way more than they let on.
Totally.
We kind of called it from the beginning. We saw that, that whole dinner scene with her mom and knowing that, the father took her name because she was the last of her family. June and I were immediately like, why is she the last of her family? So that struck something with us. And we get to see, but, we kind of thought she was evil because we didn't know. But, she turned out to be, it seems like, a good fox, And so... Mr. Yukamura, he hid the foxtails in a book at school because kids don't open books at school, apparently. You know what, guys? I think you should go open your books at school because who knows what you will
might
find.
find something
seriously, you
really
might find
cool.
some foxtails.
Because apparently teachers do not think you do that. So she already sacrificed 5. 3 of the Uni were gone, and she says that if she has to, she's willing to sacrifice them all. And she says these ones were going to be more powerful. However, she probably didn't know her own daughter was going to kill them.
I know.
Right.
Mr. Yugamura says we should tell Kira. And, what do you guys think? Are they doing the right thing? Are they helping the right way? Because they're keeping this a secret. I think that if they worked together and obviously spoke with Kira about this, they would have been a lot more effective.
Right. I agree. I think they should have told Kira. I don't know. I actually don't know why they're keeping it from her.
Well, as a new parent, I'm going to have to
Peter,
start
yes.
thinking about these things. And my initial reaction is to protect them and to not tell them things. And so then I'm thinking, when I finally meet my daughter, am I going to tell her...
You're so hesitant.
Right, I gotta think this through. Am I gonna say, hey, it's good to see you, I know it's been a while. And so I'm a werewolf, I don't know. And because she might not know.
What are you guys going to do? Like, are
Would
you
I
gonna...
tell her that?
No, I mean, like, where are you going to meet? Are you going to go at lunch? Like,
I'm
where
not
do you
gonna tell you.
take her to get play mini golf? Like, what are you going to do with your daughter for the first time?
I think you should go running through the forest. What's more bonding than that?
Oh my god! But to go back to your question, like, what am I gonna tell? Am I gonna tell her? No, I'm gonna protect her at all costs and keep her away from all this stuff.
So Peter is
altruistically, no, this is me. My ideas. The bosses will probably be like, no, do something different.
Hashtag Peter parenting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
But she'll be all right. Kira will turn out fine.
I feel like the more you tell your kids, the more they'll understand. So when parents always say no, your kid is going to do it unless you give an explanation. And so my kids are going to know everything. And I think that'll help them make better decisions.
I love that idea.
I agree.
I think
I would concur with that.
With many caveats, but in general, yeah, for sure.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about styles. Dylan O'Brien.
Wow.
What's not to love there? I mean, just his voice and his overall appearance and the way he transformed, over the seasons and now into this villainous character. I mean, there's not really a fox in there. It's really Dylan O'Brien playing both parts for you guys who don't know and kind of switching his voice. And I mean, you as a villain of the show in general, you can kind of, speak for him. Did you give him any tidbits? Did you do some like Peter parenting with styles?
Lately when I talk to Dylan, it's really just to applaud his work this season. I am so beyond impressed with his acting. Just a quick story, back in, 14th century, actors were so good and so convincing that people were afraid of them. They thought that they were ghosts because of the way they could change like this,
Right.
that they would bury them outside of the city. when they died because they didn't want the ghosts to come back and haunt them. That's how good they were. And that's how good I feel Dylan is right now. I am blown away by his ability to do this. I cannot speak highly enough for how talented of an actor he is, and it's a treat to watch him work and to be on set with him as well. So yeah, no, I'm not saying anything to him. I'm just watching in awe.
I ran into him actually Halloween, and he had his hair all done. He was like all in character. I think they were trying to be either Ghostbusters or something else, him and a group of his friends, and they couldn't find costumes, and they were just walking around Ventura, like, aimlessly looking for costumes, but he had his hair done, and it looked phenomenal. So I suggested a few places, hopefully he found the costume. I haven't talked to him.
What do you think about Dylan this season? I mean, it's the departure from just styles and funny and cute and awkward to this. Like, what do you...
I'm just in awe, like you were saying, and I'm just in awe of his talent, and it's just amazing to watch. It really is.
They say, you know, like the comedy and the drama comes from the same place, kind of like the sad clown. Like if you have all that comedy in you, it normally comes from like the drama side. So, but it's nice to see him play such a different role as the same character.
I love how he sneaks in like a little bit always. So like even when he's the Nogitsune, like when he was under the MRI machine, you know how he kind of cocks his head a little bit. He just finds little ways to add comedy, even when he's like that scary Nogitsune, and like vice versa. You still see that darkness in him and that sadness when he's being funny styles too.
Right. Yeah. I think that's a great point. So at this beginning of the episode, he's been missing. And when Scott and the twins finally find him, he says, it's me. I don't know what I've been doing, but here's all this stuff that I've been gathering. I think it's for something bad. And, you know, he goes this entire episode playing the Nogitsune, and nobody knows. We all think it was Styles.
100%.
Yeah,
you're
too.
watching the scene, and you're like, I don't know. Is he the good guy or the bad guy? And he pulls it off. And it's fun because I want to, you know, I don't want to figure it out. I think I want to figure it out, as you know, when I'm watching as a fan, and you want to spoil it and go, I got it. But it's more fun to let it unfold and be surprised, and that's part of the entertainment.
Absolutely.
And they're doing it, and it's working.
But what about like Scott and his alpha roar when, you know, the twins had Styles?
Yeah, I mean, he showed them who's boss of the pack. So, but at the end of the day, you know, maybe he should take advice from somebody because they were right. You're at the top, but still, you know, you have a pack for a reason, so don't forget about him. So Kira fights Scott, and she fights side by side with Scott, you know, with the swords, and they're killing the Uni, and they're trying to protect Styles, who is actually the Nogitsune at this point. And so once they get in there, and that turn, the thought of Styles killing Scott, never would I imagine seeing that on screen. What a predictable, like unpredictable scene that just came across, and I was scared. I didn't know what was happening. He was twisting the sword, obviously causing his best friend pain. It was unimaginable. What did you guys feel in that scene?
Well, like that moment that Styles just was like, let's get him in, I was like, something's wrong with that. Like the real Styles would be freaking out if Scott was hurt, you know? And like, and he's like grabbing Kira and like trying to get them inside. I was like, okay, no, this is bad news.
There's a lot of polarity in the show, and opposites between good and bad and dark and light, and when we cross over, you know, and the Styles is in Scott's relationship is just like the beacon of virtue and goodness, and then when you take, you know, the element and put the bad Styles in and have him destroy that, it's really, you know, it's really dramatic.
Right.
And the way he does it, which is very, very, you know, just still-faced, and he just talks calmly, and it's gnarly, like
Jokerish villain.
Yeah, he's not just after him and being all like, I'm a bad guy. It's so compelling because your brain goes, this is not what I should be seeing, and yet it's still happening.
Yeah, and we get him telling him, Scott, you should have done your reading. The Nogitsune feeds off chaos and strife and pain, and all morning you took it from Isaac and the coach and the deputy, and now all that pain is in you, and I want you to give it to me. And, you know, I tricked everyone. And then Deaton shows up, and he's like, not everyone, what's up? And he injects him.
Awesome moment ever.
Yeah, he's like, I'm sorry, it was traffic. I would have been here 10 minutes earlier. I'm sorry, but I'm here now. So what do you need?
Better late than never.
It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, but like, hands down, I mean, just this episode, always to the next level. I didn't see that coming, and now I just feel like we're kind of stuck in this. Like, what's going to happen? Obviously, we've poisoned the fox, but it's still not dead. Right. So, like, how is this going to affect Stiles going forward? Let's go ahead and talk about our predictions before we do the interview with you.
Sure.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
I mean, it looks like Stiles puts himself sort of in like an insane asylum for a moment because, we get that conversation in the previews where he says to Scott, I can't hurt you if I'm here, and Scott says, I can't help you if you're here. And we see, he later is going to be injected and with an sedative, which will put him to sleep, and he's like, I can't go to sleep. So I'm pretty sure the no Gitsune is coming back, and I'm glad we got this episode where we kind of got to see what this villain can do, because a lot of times, shows will show us, here's the bad guy, but we never get that wild episode where we get to actually see what they're capable of. So I think that was just the beginning of what the no Gitsune can do, but it was nice to see that.
As a prediction, I'm going to say, there's always this idea that through the arc, these bad things happen and we'll wind up fixing it all and everything will be back to normal. And it's just the journey. And I think that we want to show you that maybe that's not going to be the case. Maybe things will be altered forever and it's not, who knows, maybe Stiles will never be back to normal. But it's not going to be so pat and so easy that you can just know, oh, whatever happens, the hero can't die at the end and it's all going to be fine. And because that's not interesting. Right. So they're setting up, it's something that you don't think might happen could very well happen. And it could change an entire arc of the show, from here on after, and that may or may not happen. I'm not going to tell you, but it's certainly available now.
I feel like Peter always wants all the power that he can get. So I kind of thought last week, I thought maybe he would bite Stiles, knowing the no Gitsune's in Stiles, and I don't know if that could affect him because I just feel like he would want the no Gitsune in him if he could.
Pop it out of Stiles.
I'm going to say to that when Peter asked Stiles authentically for the bite back in the first season, and Stiles said no, I think Peter respects that, and I don't think he ever would do that to him. Oddly, he has odd respects for people.
Interesting, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's a bad guy, but in a way that he goes, okay, he wants to care for that and honor that.
Right.
I don't think Peter would ever do that.
All right, well then I was wrong, I think, in a nice way. Let's go ahead and get into our interview with Ian. So I just wanted to know, I'm sure the fans do too, like, what's one of your favorite on-set stories with the cast and crew? Something funny or adorable?
Oh, Lord, every day is really a toss-up. Oh, shoot.
Anything.
Anything.
Because we don't know anything.
Right, you don't. I mean, it's literally like picking your favorite food.
I mean, the smallest thing.
One time, I think I may have even told this story before on some other show. Some of the fight scenes can get really intense and really physical. In the first season, with Posey, I ended up kicking him so hard that he fell down to the ground for 20 minutes, and we all had to sit down, and he was just writhing in pain, and that will always stick out in my mind. It's funny looking back at it, and you're like mortified, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And they're trying not to be mad at you, but he's like, no, it's fine, I'm gonna be okay, don't worry. And you feel so bad. That kind of thing happens a lot.
Did he get you back for that?
He would never.
Oh yeah, he seems like the sweetest guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's not a vindictive bone in his body. Aww. We laugh about it now. Things like that happen a lot. There's lots of joking around with the makeup and like, when someone's wearing a funny, like the Jennifer when she was the Rock when she was all set up. Haley, she would, scare people because the mask was. She would always just show up over your shoulder and just freak people out. Things like that happen all the time.
Do you miss the Rock?
Do I miss? I mean, I miss working with Haley for sure. Do I miss that face? God, no. And you walking at lunch, you go the other direction. It's so disconcerting.
Is the Duroc?
Yeah.
Where is the Duroc right now? The Duroc face. Is it on set somewhere? Do they put it in the lunchroom?
No, I think it's in our special effects makeup trailer.
Okay.
For all to see. Who knows? Maybe it might come back.
Maybe.
You never know.
Wait, is it scary in real life?
It's horrifying. It's awful. I can't even speak to her. I'm like, we'll talk, and I'll be like, oh, God. Stop. Just don't.
What's like a future role you would want to play on any show or film? What's like something you really would like to do?
I would like to do something that is not recognizable as me. I would like to be a completely different person. That's
like
not
something transformative.
Something transformative that is such a departure from normal that you really lose the idea of the actor and the person you may know about or think about. If I can make people believe that and still enjoy myself and have fun, that to me is that's the kind of work Daniel Lewis does. And the characters that he plays. Obviously, I'm not associating myself with that kind of thing, but that kind of work, as opposed to just like, I don't want to be an action star, I don't want to be James Bond, or I don't want to do just specifically, but something that's unrecognizable. That to me, I think, like when when Jared Leto did
Dallas
Buyers Club,
that kind of work,
Right.
that's gear that I'm like, that's what we really want to be able to do.
Right.
And I hope, and I don't know if I can, but I'd like to try, and we'll see.
I mean, you're in the makeup room. Have you ever tried any on? Do you feel like you could do the character like Jared Leto? Have you worn makeup for a character like that?
You know what? They say if you're not afraid of the challenges of the role, you probably can't do it. So anyone that says, I can absolutely do this, that director would be a little bit leery. And I think you need to have a really healthy uncertainty to try to make these things happen.
Right.
Absolutely.
So it's good to be scared and think, and even further to think, maybe I can't do this. I don't think
Right.
I'm good enough. And then have someone say, you can, let me help you get there. That's the kind of director you want to work with, and that's how you can make some magic.
So June came up with this fantastic question. I mean, you guys all look so great on screen, and she was wondering, what's a fitness or health tip that you would give? What's your favorite exercise, and what's like your diet like?
We were shooting high definition cameras that really see everything, so you have to avoid the bad stuff, the sugars and the fats and smoking, and if you can drink a little bit, but you gotta keep that under wraps. And you have to just exercise your whole body and be, health is not just like not eating a junk food. It's a whole idea.
Right, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle, and if you and there's a lot of vanity obviously in our profession, but if you want to look a certain way, you have to, that's all of it. You can't just take 2 days off from, all the crap that you do all week, the day before you shoot. It's a whole thing. And if you don't want to do it, then that's fine, and you look like you look, and that's cool. But you have to give into that.
Do you have like a favorite exercise? You like jumping rope? Like what's your like go-to? Do you go running?
I work out a lot. I like to lift weights.
It's not obvious.
Shut up.
I'm just kidding. You look so fantastic.
Oh, God.
I mean,
Thank you.
when guys lift weights, it's obvious. So guys, go to the gym.
I mean, it's important for everybody. That's like a daily thing. It's like, it's a habit, and if I don't do it, I don't get the pheromones, or not pheromones, what do you call them, endorphins. So I start to, you get a little weird. But then after that, cardio-wise is tennis. I play tennis with Colton Haynes. And I spend many, many hours thinking about how to beat him.
So he's that good?
He's that good, and he'll taunt me on text, but I would play 2 or 3 times a week with him, and during the summer we do, and we go out and run around, and that's my favorite exercise, because it's fun, and you're getting all your stuff, and it's outdoors, and you're not thinking that it's as bad as it is, because you're playing a game.
So what other projects are you working on right now, or what can we look forward to seeing you in? I know this takes up so much of your time.
I'm very fortunate to fit in. I'm doing a very extended arc on Chicago PD, which is an NBC show. It's in the middle of its airing right now, and I'm in this second half of the season. Play a fantastic character on that, and my episodes will start in about 3 weeks. And I get to work with a phenomenal actor named Jason Begay, who you've seen in a million things. And it's a departure from Teen Wolf, because it's just straightforward show, and just actors sit down at a table and talk to each other, and so it's a lot of fun. I'm really excited about that. It's a lot of traveling, and it's a lot of hard work, and it's beyond freezing temperatures outside. It's painful, but I'm excited to have that be on, and I want everyone to watch it.
We definitely
Wednesday
will.
nights on NBC. What's that?
What time? Do you know what time it is?
Yeah, it's on 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, guys.
9 Central.
9 Central.
On Wednesdays.
Yeah.
We are going to promote that. We're going to love it. We're going to watch you. And we're just so excited that you could be with us tonight. It's always such a pleasure having you in studio.
Anytime.
The fans, they would not stop talking about you all day. My phone was blowing up with Twitter comments.
Really?
They were so excited for you to come in.
Oh, guys, if you're watching, thank you. That's awesome. I love you.
And we were, we were so excited too. We host the show because we're such big fans. So thank you again for coming in. Where can the fans follow you? What's your Twitter handle?
It's my name, at Ian Bohen, IANBOHEN. I'll try to respond to everything I can. I read most of them, and I'll be there with you and participate as much as I can.
Thank you so much, Ian. And June, where can we find you?
Miss MS_June Lee.
All right, guys, and you can find me at Cinematic Escape on Twitter. Thanks again for joining us, and tune in next week for a special guest.
Follow them; they're great.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.